Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob,
And I'm Cody.
and this is our 15th episode. We got crazy spoilers. I'm so excited to talk
A
about,
lot of spoilers.
and it's it is super exciting. I was like talking to someone at the armory this week, and we were like, "Oh, it's like Christmas, just coming early." It's awesome. But before we do spoilers, we're going to talk about what we did this week in Flesh and Blood, and we're going to be just a short little section on week 4 of ProQuest. So, what did you do in Flesh and Blood?
I did not play at my local armory this week, but I was actually there. I was actually teaching my brother how to play the game because I think that he lives locally. He lives like 5 minutes from me, and he's a big card gamer, but he actually hasn't really played any Flesh and Blood. Like I taught him a couple years back with like a Blitz armory deck, or not armory deck, a little Blitz deck, and he didn't really like get into the game at that point. And he's been playing like a lot of One Piece and like Magic Commander. And I just kept saying like, hey, I have lots of cards. You can always borrow a whole deck from me. Like you don't even have to invest anything in the game, and you can play the game. And it's a really, really good game. And so eventually he was like, all right, teach me the game on Tuesday. And so we just kind of went to the army just to hang out and practice or teach him the game before we had some other plans that evening. So I didn't play an armory, but I did teach someone how to play the game. So that was kind of cool. And I think he's interested. I think he'll actually start playing soon and join us weekly. So that'll be fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
I went to the armory on Tuesday. I saw you there, but I didn't really get to talk to you because you like showed up like in the middle of a conversation, and we started like in the middle of one of my conversations, and it was like round 1 starting. Like, oh well, I'll say hi to him later, whatever.
Yeah, the downside of it being such a close community is that
right.
You're always talking to everybody. Yeah.
Right. But so I showed up. I played Jarl like normal, and I can't.
It was like, a spicy armory that week. Actually, I went through I was showing my brother all the different heroes that were there. And I saw there was a Rhinar, a Fang, 2 Jarls, a Dory, and what was the last one? Oh, a Naira. That's right. Your girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Naira, yeah. So pretty fun armory.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. So it was like sat down for the Jarlmir like first match, which one of my favorite matchups. It was like crazy though because my deck was just drawing the juice because I went Mangle like Earth Ice Fused into Oakenold into Mangle Earth Fuse into Mangle Ice Fuse.
Jeez.
It's just like non-stop. I like.
Wait, so when you say Mangle Ice Fuse, do you mean like the arms?
Yeah. So I mean like the arms. So it's like, oh, like Earth Ice Fuse, so 10 dominate into Oakenold, into Mangle for 10, into, and I think the Ice Fuse, I even did Ice Quake before it, so it was like Mangle for 11 on hit, Frostbite, dominate. It was
brutal.
Yeah, I got through that like 4-turn cycle, and I look at my opponent, I'm like, well, you don't have to worry about Mangle anymore. Like,
unless you remember some back in.
Yeah, but it was like still like a close match because he was much more on the defensive end and he had some like defensive plays. So I think he was actually until like the last Mangle ahead of me, but I had just bought so much momentum and eaten so many of his like power cards through that like cycle that like in the end I ended up getting there, and we didn't even get into second cycle, which was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting for Jarlmir, huh? That really means something happened.
Right. If only I could do that into like when Enigma was here. Like that's the stuff you want to see with Enigma. Like you can't stop me. I'm just swinging. I'm just as hard and fast as I can. And I mean, my deck's built like that more than other Jarl decks. Because even my blues can turn a little more aggressive. I just kind of like lose to new. But
yeah, it is what it is. You have to pick your battles.
It is what it is. Right. Then who did I play second round? Oh, I think I got a bye.
By the second round?
Yeah, because the Dory player ended up having to leave.
Oh, I see.
Because his AC went out, so he ended up having to leave. And then into the last round, there was I played into Rhinar, which super fun matchup. I need a lot more practice into it. They did a Blood Rush turn, rolled Scab Skins, rolled a 1, and I still lost that match. So,
oh no, I can imagine it's
yeah,
not a great matchup for you, but
right.
it's still brutal.
There's like some really fun interactions with like Seeds of Tomorrow. Like I have that in my deck and I like it against Rhinar. I'll have to play to see if I need it more, but like if it really is a good inclusion. But it's like really interesting because like at the very start of the turn, like on a Blood Rush turn, he went to intimidate me, but I'm like, before you discard or do anything, I'm gonna play Seeds of Tomorrow. Like in response to your Blood Rush, Seeds of Tomorrow, now we can start banishing. So
that prevents 5, and then yeah, you're in a decent spot already.
Yeah. So it's like it's a super interesting matchup, and I'm excited to play a little bit more of it.
Yeah, I've been looking into playing Rhinar. I know the Rhinar player you played against was asking me if I had any Splatter Skulls, and I was like, I do, but none I want to get rid of because Rhinar looks like a lot of fun, especially with the new card that we're going to talk about later in the spoiler section.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about this, like looking at a couple of the cards in the spoiler season, like even like just a couple of them. It feels like this set's giving more support than Rhinar than Heavy Hitters did.
Yeah,
and he was in Heavy Hitters.
That is funny. Actually, I just realized something we forgot to add to our notes or topics to talk about today is the like ban list predictions, because that happens on the 19th. That's this upcoming Monday, I believe. So we'll have to see what happens there. But
oh yeah,
that's just something I just was thinking about just now before I forget, is that yeah, we have a ban list coming up too that's going to shake everything up.
Yeah, we can add that after the week 4 Pro Quest.
Yeah. Actually, we'll talk about that after the spoilers.
Okay.
But anywho, not to interrupt. So you unfortunately didn't take that game down. Anything else? Anything else for this week of Flesh and Blood?
I did go, and it was like a week ago. I think it was right after our last recording. I went over to a friend's house and we played. I actually brought the Armory decks. So we sat down. He played the Azalea Armory deck, which, like, him being somewhat new, like he's played a while ago, but him still being like what I would consider like newer because he hasn't played in probably a year. And I played the Bolton deck. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good game, but there's definitely like the Azalea deck is like, oh, like don't activate like that. Like you want to do it like this. Oh yeah, you can't play that buff because you don't have any arrows in your arsenal.
Yeah, so when I taught my brother, I had him play Riptide and I was playing Dash.io just because those were the 2 decks that I had built.
Oh yeah.
And it was interesting, like flavor wise, the ranges are really cool. It's like first experience as a new player. Like you're like nocking your bow and then now it's loaded in your bow and now you're firing it off, right? So like flavor wise and everything, like lore wise and whatever, it's great. But in terms of actually playing the game, it's kind of tough to explain that additional concept to a first time player and not have that be like biased for later times when they're playing just regular attack action cards, right? So it is a little odd in that sense of like it's cool thematically, but I do wish that I had a ninja deck ready just to be like, oh yeah, you have your weapon attacks, you have your regular attacks, and stuff like that to like teach the game with. So definitely like that was my first time I think actually teaching the game, like fully teaching the game. Although like I don't know if I've ever taught anybody before that, so it was an interesting experience to try to like teach with just like a ranger deck.
Right. It is very different. He still really enjoyed it. He had a lot of fun with Azalea, and he's like, if he plays the game, he's like, I love Azalea. So like, good news, he enjoyed it. But it's like there's definitely some awkward moments from like how the deck's constructed from the armor deck. Like, like I get it, I know why it's in the deck, but that's not how people want to play the deck. So it's like, I think if we do it again, just take out like that 1/3 of buff that's like, oh, if you have a face up arrow, like put a aim counter on it. Replace that. Like it is an aim counter deck, but like a lot of the time, like he just having the arrow face up is hard in the armory deck because you only have one piece of equipment that turns it face up.
Oh, well, it doesn't.
No,
what's the weapon in that armory deck?
Oh, I guess Death Dealer turns it face up too. You're right.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Death Dealer in that deck or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt a little awkward without
No, I
like
get
he
it.
wanted to play it as a new player. And I think
get
that
it,
was the biggest thing. But outside of that, a lot of fun, and it was like I love playing Bolton just off on the side sometimes.
Yeah.
And like it's fun when I'm teaching a new player because it's like I'm still like playing the game from like my perspective. I'm still doing like good and strong plays, but like it is the beginning of the game where like Bolton's like, "Oh, I'll throw 4 at you, charge my soul.
Yeah, 5
Oh,
at a time.
3, go again 3." Like really small things to offer them a lot of room to play however they want, but then still show them like later in the game how like strong a hero can get. Like, okay, now that you got a grasp, I let you play however you want. I'm gonna do a Lumina Ascension combo, and like the Armory deck's not insane combo piece,
Right.
but I think I got
or what's the little item chest piece? Nothing like that for the instant.
Courage of Bladehold, and you're using Raiden, which it doesn't have a
No,
huge
sorry,
combo.
the necklace that the legendary that you.
Oh, Spirit of Arena.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have that, so it's like, so it's a lot smaller of a combo, but I still had like a cool combo where I broke the chest piece, played via the Vanguard, and do a snatch and a snatch.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's like, I was like, oh, okay. Via the Vanguard, snatch for 5, banish a card, snatch for 5, banish a card, Lumina, sword. So it was like it was a really big for like the Armory deck. It's like, I think the biggest I've had on the Armory deck, but a big Armory deck combo. So it's like, I think it's a lot of fun to teach people with that deck because it's like, I sit back, diddle around a little bit, and I'm like, okay, you had your fun. Like, let me smack you up now. And
oh, you had a fun turn? Now watch this.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because like I always like I don't want to sit down and like teach someone a game and like just play suboptimally and like not actually show them how the game's played. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, I won't block for a turn. Oh, you're on hit triggers, or like, you know what I mean? So it's like I find that deck a lot of fun because it's like, oh, I have to do all this weird stuff that is just naturally suboptimal to then like later on do something to like. So and it also doesn't like, I would feel bad if someone's like, oh, you just gave me the win. It's like, no, I never want to just give anyone the win.
No,
like,
this deck's just bad.
Yeah. So it's like, but it's like a fun opportunity, and with the Armory deck, it's like the combo's so small. I don't think I maybe killed someone once when doing that kind of strategy of like diddling around and then comboing off. It's like, oh, okay, like a 20 damage turn when you were at 30. Now we're both at 10 life. Like, okay, let's play from here now.
Right. It was kind of funny because like when I was teaching my brother, it was I was playing. It was a bad matchup for Dio typically, but not against someone who doesn't know how to play against Dio, right? But I was like really helping him figure out his turns, and then I would go to my turn. I just didn't want to like waste a ton of time thinking and playing optimally, so I just like do a play, and so I just got absolutely destroyed in a matchup. He was like it wasn't even close. He beat me with like 20 extra health or something crazy like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. Like it was just like the teaching aspect and me not paying attention that gave him like the advantage. Like I wasn't purposely playing bad. I was just like not paying attention.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is like a small aspect of it because I like there's definitely times like you play a hand, you're like, why did I do it like that? And it's just thinking about how their hand is sequencing because you're like walking them through your hand. You're like, oh, you're like your hand sequencing. I'll just play out my hand, show you how you want to sequence it.
Right.
So yeah. But it's like a weird fine line I find balancing where it's like I still want to play the game for their sake because I hate the idea of just being like, oh, you won because you won. But it's like also like, okay, I'm gonna play this dirtily deck that like gives you a strong chance because he's super weird in his own way.
Right.
Oh, I'm not fully like paying attention to my deck, so like I might end up like throwing an attack and forgetting I have to buff it. So like I have a 3-card hand, I throw one attack and I pass. Like
yeah, things like that.
Stuff like that.
But cool. So yeah, we both basically taught someone the game. I mean, I guess you're reteaching someone, but still.
Right.
But cool. So with that, we can go into the week 4 of ProQuest. I actually meant to pull up the article. Just a second. There we go. So this one was actually a lot more balanced than the previous ones. We did have a clear winner. Florian with 24 wins. followed by New with 15 wins and Azalea with 11 wins. But then if you look at the pie chart, there's just a lot of heroes that are like average wins here that are pretty close together. It's actually a very cool pie chart to see. The meta is, I feel like it's actually pretty healthy outside of Florian being arguably just the best deck all around. But it just looks like the meta is adjusting to that as well. We even see Dash IE get some points here. Let's see how many wins. 6 wins with Dash IE. That's actually pretty incredible.
I think is this the first time she's won in over a year?
I think she had a win last week, but it was just like 1 win, I think.
Okay.
So they're getting 6 wins. I would assume those are slab dashes, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Too. Yeah. Maybe some boost dashes in there that dodge some Florians. But yeah, so pretty nice week. We have 1 more week of pro quests. I expect the pie chart to look pretty similar, maybe a little less Florian as the meta is adapting, and so even more diverse in this. But we also see Kano here that is like the scary deck that everyone's worried about. Is only here with, let's see, where is he at? He's at 8 wins, 4th most winning hero, but also probably an underplayed hero. So we'll see if that increases for the last week of pro quests.
It's wild because it feels like looking at this, there are very few decks that like to sit down and see a Kano. Because Florian, you automatically lose. New, I imagine New's the hardest of the early decks because you have Spell Void equipment on top of the Null Rune, but if you can stack them with a double Aether Wildfire, you can get around it.
You can try to stack them, yeah.
Yeah, I think Azalea is probably a 50-50. Prism you don't want to see. I think that's, or as Kano you don't want to see Prism. Prism's probably the only one you sit down and you're like, a Kano, let's go.
That and some of the Mechanologists you don't really want to see.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know about the new Kano matchup. I thought it was player dependent. I think the news are actually pretty in a good spot now with new equipment, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, Kano seems to be in a good spot. That's
right. I'm so used to I wouldn't say dirtily decks in general, but I'm a lot more defensive a player. I play a lot of Guardian. So it's I see a Kano and I'm like, let's get this over with so I can go have some lunch.
Yeah. It's pre-lunch time, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we have nothing else to say about those week 4 pro quests, we have a lot of spoilers to get through.
Right. I'm just excited to see the pie chart start to open up again because it feels like it's been a while since we've had so many diverse heroes take over.
Yeah, this is it looks pretty healthy, at least from a glance here. Yeah, which is really cool. But yeah, let's see. How about, so we're gonna start with the Gravy Bones Necromancer spoilers. We got a lot of the pirate allies, but I'm just gonna go down in the ordering that Fabry gives for the spoilers, and I'm gonna start with Give No Quarter. It is a blue 3-block pirate necromancer action that costs 0. The next 2 ally cards with Watery Grave you play this turn cost 3 less to play and go again. Now this is really interesting. So we'll get into the pirates later. I think we got spoiled 10 different pirates. And there are a lot of them that cost 3+.
I didn't expect so many
I didn't
allies
expect so many either.
Pirates.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's cool. I love seeing all these allies. I just expected here's 5 allies and a bunch of other
right. Yeah,
necromancer
there's
cards.
So many options, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so this one gives the next 2 cost of 3 less costs. So that implies that you are going to be able to play 2 pretty effectively to make use of this. That or you have to set up for it. There's a lot of ways to make the Gold Kiss Rum that give you go again, or an action point or whatever. So pretty good card. It's basically a blue that pitches for 6, if you want to think of it that way, and activates the Gravy Bones hero ability.
Right. One thing I wanted to say is just going over Gravy Bones again, just in case anyone doesn't know or has forgotten. I know I had to reread it for this spoiler season, but his hero ability is instant tap, discard a gold you control, draw a card, then discard a card. That's the first half of his ability. Then the second half is if a blue card has been put into your graveyard this turn, you may play cards with Watery Grave from your graveyard.
Yep.
So what's so important about this card is it's a blue card. So not only do you get to, it has like go again and your allies are cheaper, but it allows you to play those allies from the graveyard by like essentially pitching it by playing it. So it's super interesting. I love this card for that. It's like you play it, you gain 6 pitch if you play 2 allies.
Yeah, a very, very strong card if you can play 2 allies, but I think it's also a lot of times just strong enough on its own if you play 1. I think that there's a lot of these allies that they are at or above rate if you don't have to spend a whole card in order to play them on top of their costs, right? And so this does exactly what Gravy wants to do. It is a blue card that will go to the graveyard that turn. That is, it's a net positive. It's like, it's just, you're not spending the whole card to just get a blue to the graveyard, right? You're not playing Sift, for example. It's like Call of the Grave, right? Call of the Grave is in the same vein of like, you're playing the blue card you're playing is giving you that that modality of the, or that you're not wasting a card to do it effectively, right? So yeah, very, very good card. It is a Majestic, so it'll be a bit rare to find in Limited, but that is the first spoiler and a very good Gravy Bones card that I expect every deck to play 3 of.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because I think a lot of, especially like the Majestics, Gravy Bones just going to play 3 of, because like there are no Necromancer Majestics and he needs stuff that play into his like class and idea. So like you're going to have like all these Majestics that I assume are like, okay, you need 3 of this for him, you need 3 of this for him, you need 3 of this for him.
Yep.
The benefit is that they only work in him. So depending on the deck, like I don't know, like it's hard because I know a lot of the times whenever a Majestic is like really good, but only for a specific hero, it's not actually that expensive. But I think it depends on how many people want to jump into him.
Which is going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of people that are going to play Gravy Bones and want to play Gravy Bones. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the card, what the cost to build the deck is like. But yeah, card's good. Card good.
Super cool card, and it just looks like a lot of fun play patterns out of that.
But you want to go on to the next spoiler?
Oh yes, sorry. The next spoiler that we got for the season is Moray Le Fay. This is a Pirate Necromancer action ally. It is a yellow 2-pitch 0 cost ally. Has 0 attack and 3 health. And the ability on this ally is action, tap, attack. So you can attack for free for 0. There's a second ability, which is instant, pay 1, tap, put a +1 counter on a target ally. And it has Watery Grave. This one's like super weird to me because I look at it and I'm like, how is this? Like, I understand, like, I look at it, I'm like, how is this any good? Like, I understand why it's a Majestic because it's a combo card. But I imagine you only play this in, like, really slow matchups, like Guardian, because, like, I don't want to waste a hammer just to smack this 3 ally. But, like, if I don't smack it, you're like, oh, okay, well, Chum's going to keep getting a +1 counter, or, like, I'll add +1 counters around, so even if you take out 1 ally, my next one's stronger. So I see where it's strong and good, but it's a really interesting card.
So I am going to compare this to Shimmers of Silver. I think that's the best comparison of this card. Shimmers of Silver being the first time each turn you attack with an aura, it gets a +1 counter. The difference here is that this one is a little harder to get out, right? You have to play it with Watery Grave. It does only cost 0 to play out though, which is nice. And
it doesn't have inherent go again is the other thing. Which I don't think any of these allies do.
Well, so your offhand does give it go again.
Right.
The Compass of Sunken Depths, it's the Pirate Necromancer offhand. The first card with Watery Grave you play from your graveyard each turn gets go again. So you do get go again to play it. So you can, like, if you have an ally that's survived the previous turn, you can just play this out of your grave if you've activated your ability and played a blue card. And then I think I'll actually reorder the spoilers. I want to talk about the chess piece because I think it's relevant in terms of evaluating these cards.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it next.
We'll get into that in a second. But I do think that this is a very interesting card where you can play it out and not activate it the first turn, and your opponent has to decide, like, is this worth attacking? Do I want to spend 3 of my damage this turn, or more, depending on what hero it is? Like if it's Guardian, right? Like, do I want to spend my whole turn just hammering this thing, or would I rather throw a Spinal Crush or something at my opponent instead? So it kind of it puts your opponent into a weird position of just of making them decide whether or not it's correct to attack it or not.
Right.
So very interesting ally. I do like it a lot. I'm a big fan of all the zero cost allies, and I
I
think that
do
this will
like that
be in
it's
3 of in the
yeah.
deck. Probably just main decked if I were to guess, but there's a chance that you don't bring it in against aggro.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a sideboard because I think it's something where you have to play against a class with a lack of action points. Because if I'm a ninja, like head jab, hit, and a lot of ninjas like
Yeah, maybe not
especially
Citra.
like Katsu on hit, you can do your effect. You can guarantee just like head jab, kill the ally, get the card I need, then hit you.
Mhm.
And especially when it's an ally that's gonna get play a whole card plus 1 value.
Mhm.
That's I'm like I think it's a sideboard card, but I can see it being really strong into Guardian, like you're saying, because like you have 2 allies out. It's like, do I want to hit Chum because like that's a 0 for 4 when he's out and he has all these extra effects, or do I want to hit Murray Le Fay because Murray Le Fay keeps just making all the allies as soon as they come out stronger, or she's
Right.
making herself stronger. Like it is like kind of an interesting like balance of like I'm excited to see this ally because it is just like I think it adds just that small little aspect of
Mhm.
which one do I want to hit, how does this affect me later in the game if I leave this one up versus this one up, like this is more damage now versus if I don't hit this now I'm not going to be able to hit it for a few turns. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it adds
exactly.
so much to
Yeah.
like the game just having a simple ally like that.
Yeah, so I do think all the zero costs are going to be pretty good, but yeah, there are definitely some matchups that this won't be very useful in, just
Mhm.
because like a head jab kills it pretty easily. Um, yeah, with that, I do think that it would help to start or to talk about the dead threats, the Pirate
Mhm.
Necromancer chest. It's a legendary and it blocks for 1 with Blade Break, and it has the ability instant tap this, gain 1 resource, activate this only if an ally has been put into your graveyard this turn. So really interesting chess piece. What's really interesting about this too is that it's just if an ally has been put into your graveyard this turn, not if you've discarded it.
Mhm.
So that's also from. Well, actually, we might have to wait for
From the
the race
arena.
notes actually, because if they go in from the arena, it's turned face down, but it probably is put face up in and then turn face down, so you still get the
Yeah,
effect.
I assume it's similar to like Levia when you're banishing 6s. It does see that you banish the 6s even when you are on consumed. All
I
banished
see.
cards are 6 or are turned face down. It does see you banish the 6s and then it turns them face down.
Okay, so it'll probably work like
So
that.
yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
assuming it's similar where it's like an ally enters the graveyard, turns face down, but you can still activate that. Like you can have an Oasis Respite in your hand,
yep.
then like the Kano comes and shoots an ally first, and then like you have Oasis Respite, you activate Chum, Kano kills Chum, you target the chess piece, they the wildfire you Oasis. You can do some weird, funny plays like on the back
Right.
end, like
Yeah, that's actually really interesting to think about. Is that yeah, you can play some cards that cost 1 on your opponent's turn because of dead threads, giving you a resource on your
mhm,
opponent's turn. Um, which, well, going back to Murray Le Fay, that is an instant ability to pay 1 to do the effect. So if your opponent kills another one of your allies and doesn't kill Murray Le Fay, and you have a 3rd ally on the board, you'll then have a resource and can activate Murray Le Fay, put a counter on the 3rd ally or herself. Actually, you can put a counter on herself too. You don't need the 3rd ally.
you
But
could tap destroy the gold, do the hero ability, draw, discard LaFay, play LaFay, activate the chess piece because you discard LaFay, putting her in grave.
yep. And now
Yeah.
you're seeing the benefit. Now
Oh,
you're seeing where
that's
Morella Face
so
starts getting some.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
I like thinking through it. I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring up this chess piece first. 'Cause I think it's
Yeah.
important to have in mind when you're looking at some of these allies.
One
But
last thing that I have to say about this chess piece. The art is amazing.
Oh, it's
I don't know if you've
gorgeous.
seen the full art card. If anyone listening hasn't seen the
Well,
art, like just go look it up. It's
yeah.
amazing.
We actually got the full art of this a while back. I can't remember why. I think it was a playmat or something that
Mhm.
was spoiled. So we knew
Yeah,
the
I
art. We
think
knew that it was going to
so.
be something. We didn't know what if it was going to be a helmet or a chest piece or what. But yeah, the art on this is amazing. It's so gorgeous.
It is
It
beautiful.
it's so good, in fact, that if I were to play Gravy Bones, I don't know if I could just play the non EA version
I
of the
know.
chess piece. It's like
Oh.
Final Spring Tunic is like okay without having the EA, but
Mhm.
it's the same levels of like the EA Spring Tunic is just so much better looking than the regular one, and it's the same with Dead Threads. The EA is just
Mhm.
so much better looking than the regular. Um, I do want to talk about the EA about it really quick since we're on this topic. Um,
Uh,
the EA only comes in the treasure pack. It doesn't come in the set.
oh, isn't a lot like all the cold foils in the or not all the cold foils, but like anything that's like bigger than a common in the treasure pack?
Bigger than a common. What do you mean?
Or aren't all the like
So like
cold foils in the treasure
there
pack
like a
other
lot of
than
the
like maybe?
EAs are in the treasure pack, but like the marbles, like all
Okay.
the Marvel pirates, those are not in the treasure pack. Those are in the main
Oh,
set.
they're not. Okay.
Yeah, those are like the regular marbles. But yeah, I did notice that if you look in the the official LSS like card gallery for
Mhm.
Dead Threads, and you look at the EA, it says for the code of the card TP, which is treasure pack, and so you
Oh,
can only
okay.
get the EA in the treasure pack, which is really interesting. Um, that actually might be a topic for next week. Is the delineation of treasure pack stuff? But I just wanted to make note of that while we were talking about Dead Threads. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about Dead Threads is I think it's really cool that they're continually finding new ways for heroes to not want to play Tunic. I think that's a really cool thing. Where Gravy Bones was like going to definitely play Tunic before we saw this Dead Threads,
Yeah.
and now definitely playing Dead Threads instead of Tunic. So that was really cool.
I love when classes have their own unique options too. And
Mhm.
also makes it easier for people to jump into the game. When like you have these legendary pieces and they've been a lot better in the recent years where like the legendary pieces, like the non-foil ones or like the only foil ones, like are not that expensive, especially
Yeah.
in heroes that you don't like. It's like, oh, $20, maybe $40 for this chess piece that's like whatever. Like it's a small upgrade, but like when you have something that's better for Tunic than Tunic, and it's like $20 to $40, it's like
Mhm.
that's so much stuff you can spend on the rest of the deck.
Right.
Like Tunic, you sit down for a new player, and it's like, wow, I have to invest like 100, sometimes $200
I think right now it's like
just to.
150, 200. Yeah, it's gone up a
Oh
little bit,
man, it's
but
wild. Like I feel like Tunic keeps going like this,
yeah, I do think, and
but
this is like I talked about this on a previous episode, which was that I want them to make more and more gorgeous like alternate arts or like
mhm,
alternate art isn't the right word for it, but like upgraded versions of cards that people want, so that it makes
yeah,
the base version of the card much cheaper and more accessible to players. So like
yeah,
this regular version of Dead Threads, it's gonna be like a $20 card. Unless Gravy Bones is just super popular and allocation is a problem. This is gonna be like one of those, $20 legendaries, right? Because
right.
everyone's gonna want the EA version of it instead.
Hmm.
Same with all of the pirates, all like the majestic pirate allies. Those are gonna be cheap because the marbles are so gorgeous, and anyone like really invested in Gravy Bones is gonna want to have the marbles instead, and maybe be
Right.
cracking packs for the marbles and not wanting the regular ones. So um, I think they're doing a really good job on having that like scalable investment into the game, and they're just getting better and better. But that's a little bit off topic for the spoilers.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe another episode we can dive into that further. But yeah, you want to talk about the next pirate ally?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm not very good at this.
No, you're
The next one
good.
is Whaler Humperdinck, which is a necromancer pirate ally. It is the same. All these have the same uh, yellow pitch. So I'll just skip over that for now. But it's
And block for 0.
six. Yeah, block for 0. But he costs 6,
Mm.
has 7 life, and deals 11 damage. And his only text, other than Watery Grave, is pay 6, attack.
That's a big boy right there.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, so
That
cost 6 to play, cost 6 to swing, 11 power, 7 health, mirror guy.
So like when I saw this, I kind of related it to Mirror Guy, except balance. Like,
Yeah.
like we'll see because it can stick around and it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot harder to deal with than Mirror Guy, while also being easier to deal with than Mirror Guy because you can directly target it.
Right.
You could block and then target it.
Yep.
Easier. Harder in the fact that you have to target it. You can't target the hero. You can't do any like, oh, you can't prevent the damage kind of shenanigans. Like you have to target it.
Well, we'll get into that later, actually. You can prevent the damage.
Well, yeah, but it's like, so, like, I think the numbers are really important because 7 health is really strong. That's like really hard. Like, even as a guardian, like, I can't Anathos that. Like, oh, Jarl's summit can't kill it, even if you're not wearing a shield. Like, you have to invest something big into it. If you're even like, say you're a like ninja, you have to invest 2, maybe even 3 attacks into this one ally to get it off the board.
Right.
And if you don't remove it from the board, like, oh, I'll block with 2 cards and then I'll swing with it. Like, swing 11. Like, a 2-card 11's pretty strong. Like,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I see this as being a big combo piece for Gravy. I think this is going to be like I joked earlier with the mirror guy thing. It's effectively the mirror guy, right? Like you're setting up to do like this big whaler turn that's just going to swing tempo back in your favor, and buy you some space because they are either going to take 11 and then kill it, or they're going to block 2 cards, send 7 at it, and then now you have a full hand that you can work with again.
Right.
It is very expensive though, very very expensive. Helps a little bit with this give no quarter card that you can like play from Arsenal to effectively give you a 5-card hand with that. But yeah, it'll be one of those things where you'll have to set up for this guy. There's also some interesting stuff when it comes to Chum. If you don't remember, Chum, friendly first mate. He's the 4 cost, 4 attack, 6 health ally that has he attacks for free, and his instant ability is to discard a card with Water Grave until the end of turn. Opponents must choose this as the target of attacks if able. So if for some reason you still have this Chum friendly mate on the board and you play Whaler Humperdinck, your opponent's gonna be a little bit of a pickle, right? Like,
yeah,
unless their first action is just to swing a big attack like a Guardian attack at Whaler, you can activate Chum to effectively protect your Whaler. And
he has 6 life too, so like the ninjas that were gonna invest half their hand into Whaler now have to invest half their hand into Chum, then Whaler.
Yeah, so there's gonna be some really interesting protection opportunities available and some setups you might be able to try. It kind of reminds me of Prism in a sense, where Prism will often play a Genesis or I'm blanking on the other aura they sometimes play, where like if you don't kill it on sight, you're just gonna get looped. Like you have to be really cognizant of clearing those setup pieces immediately. And I think Chum is gonna be that way. He has to be killed on sight just because Whaler exists. So really interesting implications with some of the cards we have so far when it comes to Whaler, but very expensive as well. Very expensive to play.
Very expensive. It makes me, as a Guardian player, I like paying for things. Like, I don't know why. Like, pitching and, like, I think it's the aspect of being able to pitch stack so easily, because when you have to pay, you have to pitch a lot of cards at once, which actually makes it a lot easier to pitch stack than, like, once per turn. Yeah. So, it's like, the aspect of, like, being, like, throwing this, yeah, it's like, big and hefty, but it also, like, gives me, like, the, like, fun aspect of, like, well, I had to pitch, like, 2-3 cards to do this. Well, let me order my stack when I go underneath, and, like it looks super fun, and it looks like a deck that's going to be like 30 blues, 20 yellows, 10 reds.
Potentially, if not more blues. I mean, that's the thing about this guy too, is that you need a lot of blues to make this guy work, right?
Right.
Like you're, for example, on for the following turn, like if they attack you instead, you get to block 2, send this again. Like that's not very very feasible with how many yellows you have with all these allies. So you have to you have to make sure you can even swing in the first place or play in the first place with the way that your deck is constructed. I do want to make a quick note of, that you can run 3 of all these. None of these have Legend of the Watery Grave, which prevents you from running more than one in a constructed deck. These are all just Watery Grave, which means you can have 3 of these in your deck. Just want to put that out there really quick.
I don't know how good any of them would be if you couldn't run 3. I think Humperdinck, I could see you running 1 of. I mean, just kind of like stacking it and putting it down until.
The thing is that you can throw some of these allies in the grave and just have them sit there and wait.
That's true.
And so
you're Necromancer, I forgot.
So you can like call the grave your whaler, but then not play it the turn you call the grave. You can play a different ally instead, and you can just have it sit there waiting until you have your combo set up, right? So like Legend of the Watery Grave wouldn't have been a huge deal on this whaler guy, but yeah, I just want to make sure like everyone knew that you can run 3 of any of these allies. None of them have Legend of the Watery Grave yet. We might have more coming. Who knows? I'd be surprised because we already have a lot of allies, but there might be some Legend of the Watery Grave, like similar to the Dromai Dragons, like Tomotai, Dracona Opera and stuff, But yeah, big guy, big payoff for your setup. Really cool. It was really cool to see that card come out. He spoiled. The next one is, let me skip past some of the ones we've already seen. Kelpie, Tangled Mess, another Necromancer ally. 0 cost, 1 attack, 3 health. Action, tap, attack, so it's free to attack. You also have action, pay 1, tap Kelpie to tap target hero or ally with Go Again. Now that's really interesting. On the surface is already decent, right? With 0 cost ally, attacks for 1, has 3 health, free to attack. It's already like a 0 for 4, effectively. But then you have this second modality of you can tap a target hero or ally, which could be an opposing pirate hero, right? Or in the mirror match. So you have this like extra modality with this card. I think it's like good on the floor, and then it just has an extra benefit into pirate heroes.
Again, I think this is going to be either this card. I think is either going to be a sideboard card or not in the deck at all. Because
I don't know. I like the
pirates aren't. It is a 0 cost. I do think that's good. But the thing is, it is only attacking for 1 naturally, and against heroes that are not pirate, it does nothing. Like, she only attacks for 1.
It's just incremental value, right?
Yeah, like that's true. It's like Kodachi, but it doesn't, like, again, once you're attacking with the ally, they don't have Go Again. You can give them Go Again through means.
So far, we don't have the weapon yet.
So,
we don't have Watery of Sandakai.
No, but like so far, I think that this is either unplayable or only good when like Pirates of the meta. I think if Gravy Bones is like representative and he's constantly played at a lot of events, which I think he might be, this might be a sideboard piece. Because can you imagine they set up the combo on you? They're like, okay, I did Chum, now I have like Humperdinck down, like what are you gonna do? And you're just like, I tap Humperdinck, or like I tap Chum, like.
Yep. And then they don't untap until the end of your turn. So if you tap the big guy, he isn't useful the next turn unless he gets untapped in some way.
Right. And you can just keep tapping their whichever one they really need until like they kill your ally. And at that point, hopefully you came up with a solution. So I think in the mirror, amazing card, like fantastic. Because like, I need to set up this way. And you're like, well, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But I think outside the mirror, kind of a dead card to me.
I don't know. Like, I think its floor is fine enough. But we'll see. We'll see how, like, what else he gets, whether the pirate cards come out, how the decks are built. But I think it's at its floor already good enough, if you ask me.
Okay.
But yep, that's Kelpie.
Cool. Up next we have Limp Pit Hopalong, which is another Necromancer ally action. It is a 0 cost as well, but 1 health, 2 attack, and its text is action. Pay 1, tap, attack, Go Again.
Yep.
So I think this one is more of like a staple that just goes in the deck. I know that a lot of people, I've seen a couple people like, this could be stronger, but the thing is, this allows you to go wide naturally, just having this card, and it requires your opponents to respond. If you have like 2, even 3 of those, that's a blue for 6. That is a 1 card 6, 2, 2, 2 broken up, which is even better than just throwing 6. On top of, you can just lead it into something. Like it is like that incremental damage of like, oh, okay, well, I'll pay 1 to attack, go again into CNC. That's a 2 card 8 with on hit, discard your arsenal. Like, I think it is just like I add the value to your turn to make it from like okay, it's a 2 card 6 to, oh, it's a 2 card 8 to you like just adds that extra damage or value, or it's like, oh, like I only have allies this turn. Well, like say we have all the 0 costs we've talked about. Well, I'll just do like I'll do or like Kelpie Tangled Mess to tap the opposing hero's ally or hero. Then I will do Limpet to come in for 2, go again, and into Mora LaFay, who has like 2+1 counters. Like, and I can add another one. So it's like for 1 blue, I did a lot of effects off of all that stuff. And like the go again allows you to do all this kind of extra value and damage.
Yeah. No, I think this is really cool. I like what you said. Like, I do agree. This is probably a main deck card. It's not doesn't feel as great to the ninjas that can pretty easily remove it with a Kodachi or a or a dagger. Probably similar with the assassins. They can swing a dagger at it. Doesn't feel as bad for them. But I think there's something else about this card that is really interesting in that it's a pirate ally with go again, which kind of implies that we aren't going to get the watery of Sandakai or whatever that weapon would be, where the pirates just have natural go again.
I like that because it just seems so interesting because it feels like looking at it, it's like feels like a puzzle of like, how do I use my allies? Like I just summoned a horde of zombies. How do I use them? Like I can't cram them all through one door. Like I got to make sure I do stuff with it. And that's why I'm excited to see more of these cards that like say tap target ally, do this effect. Like one we saw a long time ago, but paddle faster. When this attacks, you may tap an ally. If you do, this gains go again. So it's like, I'm excited to see more of those because like you could summon this horde, do all these cool effects, and it's like a problem solving game. But it's like interesting because I think Limpet like gets around that. It's like, oh, you don't need me for that extra effect? 2 damage. Like
well, I think also what's interesting about this is that you probably already have a decent matchup into the action point gated heroes. But imagine like playing multiple of these out at a time and against someone like a Guardian or even Brutes that might have a little bit of trouble like clearing these efficiently, and just having 3 of these on board and just pitching a blue swinging for 6 every turn. Seems pretty good.
It is. I'm really excited about Limpet Hop Along, and outside of Chum, which we've seen, I think it is the most like just auto include in the deck.
Yeah, probably started out against ninjas, but otherwise auto include. But yeah, and then our next ally is Scuba Salty Sea Dog, or Scooby, if you want to call it Scooby. Yeah. It is a dog in the picture. Another ally, pirate ally, necromancer ally. 0 cost, 4 attack, 4 health. Action, pay 3, tap, attack. When this attacks, you may put a yellow card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, create a gold token. So really interesting here off the bat is a 0 cost to play, but 3 to swing. But even if you pay 3 to swing, and assuming you did an efficient way to play out of your grave, do the water grave effect. It's a 2 card 8, right? Because it attacks for 4 and then it blocks for 4 effectively. So already pretty good with the additional effect of making a gold token by bottoming a yellow.
So this is another one of my going from Limpet going to Scuba. I think Scuba is also one of my favorite allies because it's free to play, kind of what we were talking about. And I think a lot of the zero cost allies, you can do your natural stuff, and if it has go again, you can play that ally with go again. And even if you don't attack with the dog, say you don't have any pitch left, I'll just swing a different ally for this turn. But having this on board, even without the ability, your blues are now just a 0 for 4. As long as Scuba sits there, your blues are a 0 for 4. As long as giving you an extra effect, and it has 4 health, which is a breakpoint in Flesh and Blood, which means it's a little bit harder to take care of. So it's like I really like Scuba, the Salty Sea Dog, just as someone like, even if you barely swing it, just like, I'll put it down. If you force me to block out one turn, I have 1 blue. I can still swing 4 at you with a blue. Like,
no, I agree. Like, this very, very good ally here. Probably a staple as a 3 of. Just being the gold alone just helps you perform your hero ability really well. I don't know how much you want to actually bottom your own yellow allies, because you did all the work of putting them there. But you can bottom your opponent's yellow cards instead if you don't want to bottom your own allies.
That's true. CYB. Well,
yeah, CYB.
Yeah,
I mean, you could. That could be a benefit or a negative depending on the situation.
Yeah. One interesting thing about that is we have seen some yellow cards come out, and like the generic slot and the, like, what we'll talk about later, but like, just to mention it, Loan Shark or even Sea Legs, you could put those on your, like, on the bottom of your deck and just put them back in your deck. You are going to cast like all your grave in this deck, so you're going to shuffle your deck and then have it naturally, and that gives you more opportunity. Like, with him, if you don't take care of it, technically you can infinitely discard Sea Legs, and like, if you have Sea Legs and Loan Shark, you can infinitely discard those to keep doing stuff.
Yeah, I actually have a spicy take. I've been thinking about it. You might not run Call to Grave in this deck. It might not actually be worth it.
Not.
I think that you might have enough discarding effects. You might just stack enough allies in your graveyard that you never really need to pull them into your graveyard.
The one counterpoint I do have is turn 0 Call to the Grave. I get to choose any ally in my deck and either play it turn 0 or have it like an immediate answer to whatever you do. Because like,
that's true.
Like, I think that's it might be a 2 of, it might be something like that. But I think that's the big benefit of Call to the Grave is like, oh, I know I'm playing this hero.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I need this ally. So I'm just going to turn 0, summon, or like get this ally in my graveyard. And I will just sit on this rotting corpse in my graveyard until they like pull out their second dagger, or like they try and react over the top or something funny like that. And you're like, come on out. Like, we need you right now, please.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it. But it's just a thought that I had. It was like, maybe you have enough allies just accumulating in your grave that you just don't need to spend.
Right, and if the deck's consistent enough, you won't need it.
Yeah.
But it is the idea of like, it could be something that you put in just for like the early game advantage. It might be a sideboard card for like, am I going first? No, I side out Call to the Grave. Am I going first? I'll put them in.
Because like, okay, so I want to counter here really quick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think 13 allies right now. And none of them are legendary. So you can currently run 39 allies in your deck. You can have more than half your deck be allies.
It was something where I was like putting together a deck yesterday of Gravy Bones because I'm like, guys, this looks sick. I've got to try it. And like, I'm like, okay, we'll start by putting on all the allies. And I had 39. I'm like, I can't. I don't think you do.
I don't think you run that many. Yeah, but
I don't think you do. I think you have to try and find a way to cut it down to 20, if even 20. That's still like scary amount because 1/3 of your cards.
No blocks,
being no blocks. That like, if you draw a hand of them, it's not very good. So it's like, it's something where I was like, man, I have to cut a lot and find what I like or what's a sideboard option. And it was a lot of like playing around with just like deck building, which I thought was really cool for a deck that just came out. Like, it might be like way in the future, or even after everything comes out, we figure out what you want and what you don't want. But like, especially just as a new deck, it's super cool to be like, well, which ally do I want for this scenario? Which one do I want this? Like, what do I want in? What do I want out? Like, it might be a scenario where like you can only play like Mora Le Fay or Whaler if you're doing certain strategies.
I'm not curious. I don't remember exactly how many dragons there were, so I'm actually kind of want to
I felt
look
like
to
there was
see.
one for each region, and there's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 non-legendaries and then 3 legendaries. So a few less. There's like effectively 12, but you can't run 3 of everything. So it's
I mean, you
less
could
than that.
count the legendaries as a play set of dragons, so you have 10 play
10.
sets of
That's good.
dragons.
Yeah. So you
So you
basically
have
have 10 compared to Gravy Bone's 13. So a little bit more choice in terms of which to run. But also Jerome was able to run all of them because they blocked 3. So and they were reds. So it was like kind of fine to just run all of them if you wanted to. But
Mhm.
it is interesting that there are a lot more. They gave a lot more pirate allies than they did dragons.
Yeah, it is cool. I like it a lot. I didn't
Gives
expect
you the
this much,
choices.
but I'm enjoying it. And it does feel like a horde of zombies. Like
Yeah.
the more you see it, it's like it is just like I'm picking up random people from the bottom of the sea
Yep.
that I've just found. I'm animating you. You're part of my crew.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
it
think
is
it's really
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Did I do scuba or did you do scuba?
Uh,
That
you
doesn't really
did
matter, I
scuba.
guess.
So
Okay.
I'll move on. Barnacle is the next one. It's a 2-cost ally with 3 health, 4 attack, and its text is action tap attack.
Yep.
So
Pretty
very
standard.
basic,
Yeah.
but like I've heard people comparing it to like Wounded Bowl, where it's a
Oh yeah,
2
this is
for
Majin
4
Base. Spoiler, right?
block 3.
No, that was
No, wasn't
different.
Majin Base the wizard card?
He had 2 effectively.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay, that makes
Um,
sense then.
which one was it? He had one that he called Winnable, and it made sense.
Oh, it
I
might
guess it
be this then.
no, I guess it wasn't. No, because it had 8. It was 8 total value. I remember that.
Oh, okay,
Whatever. It was one of them. But anywho,
but yeah, the cool thing about this hero is it like takes 3 to get off the board, and if you just don't interact with it, you can just throw 4 every turn. Like I don't even have to have a hand to throw 4,
yeah, doesn't
and that's
cost you
like the
swing, which is
huge
a big
benefit.
thing. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's another one of those things where it's like you're just demanding your opponent to remove it. Otherwise, you just get a free extra 4 value, right? It's like the
Right.
Enigma thing where if they don't clear your aura, if they don't actually like get rid of it, then you're getting so much value out of it. You're not getting just the base
Mhm.
value of okay, I played this. Let's assume you were able to play it out of the grave without having to waste a card. You played it with 1 card to pay the cost, and you swing. It's just a 2 or it's a 1 card uh 7, right? Yeah. If you don't waste a card to be able to play it out of your grave, it's a 1 card 7, right? Pretty
Right.
good. Pretty damn good.
Right.
Yeah, very solid card. Easy 3 of in every gravy bonus list. And the art's also really sick.
Yeah, it's a wild art. Like when that came out, I did not like expect that, which like maybe I should have, but it was
Yeah, it's really cool.
crazy. It is cool.
But yeah, next one is Chowder, Hearty Cook. Costs 3 to play. Has 3 power, 3 health. A lot of 3s here. It's free to swing outside of tapping, and there's also instant tap gain 1. So this one's interesting. It's similar. It's 3/3/3, but when it's about to die, if your opponent's attacking it, you can just tap it and gain 1 before it dies. So, yeah, pretty good value there. I like it.
I like it. I don't know, like you have so many allies, and you're just talking about how like you have to find room in your deck. I don't know if it makes the list because it's like 3, which is easy to kill, 3, which is easy to block. Like, sure, it's free to attack with, but you already have the free 0 for 4.
I think it's important to keep note. Like, it depends on how much support we get. But for example,
That's fair.
give no quarter. It's the next 2 ally cards with water or grave you play this turn cost 3 less to play, right? So you play this for free. You play Chowder because it's free, You get the swing
Mhm.
for free. Now you just did a 1 card 7, right?
Yeah.
Because you only had to play Give No Quarter, assuming this is already in your grave for other reasons, right? You only had to play Give No Quarter. You didn't have to pay anything else to play this or swing with it. So now you swing
Mhm.
for 3. They have to throw at least 3 damage at it, and you gain a health. So it's just such good value, right? And that's just with Give No Quarter. There might be some other cards that we get that makes it even better in terms of like 1 card plays for these allies.
I guess my thought on it is I think it makes the list if you have a problem using all the allies you can summon. If you summon allies constantly and you like there's like 3 of them, 4 of them sitting on the board and you can only ever swing 1 or 2. I could see this making it because like just gaining a life every turn is pretty strong. But like if you like make your deck consistent enough that it's like, okay, I have 1, 2, maybe 3 allies because I'm forcing them to take it out, but I'm using all their abilities every turn. I use 1 for the tap to throw this attack. The other has go again, and this one gives me this natural ability. I think like gain 1 life is one of the weaker abilities. So it's
Sure,
like I
but
don't know.
I think it's important just to reduce it to the math of like
That's
this
true,
could be a 1 card 7, or at worst 2 card 7, right? Which is still
right?
not bad. Um,
I
yeah, I
yeah,
think as long as you like
that's where I
reduce it to the
just
math of that, then I think it looks good. But obviously, like it might not make the list. There might be some different things that Gravy Bones does that doesn't make the list. But I think that'll be a staple 3 of.
I I'm gonna take the opposite take and think that it's not
Yeah,
gonna make the list. I don't even
I
think it makes sideboard.
I mean that's fair. I mean you might just have so many other better allies, but I think it's
Right.
solid.
I could see it. And I think that's definitely something you can run and feel really happy about.
Mhm.
It's just like I can definitely see like at high levels, like, oh, okay, like my deck's just so consistent that having this thing that swings 0 for 3, why don't I just have Barnacle that swings 0 for 4? Oh,
Yeah,
it
if you had to
gains
make
1 life. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, okay, like it's a 0 for 4 from a different perspective, but sometimes it's not always better because like I think offensive pressure is a lot of the times better than just gaining 1 life.
Mhm. But yeah, you want to talk about Cuddy?
Yeah. Next, we have Cuddy Shark Quick Clip, which is a 1 cost, 4 health, 3 attack Necromancer ally action. It has action, attack, tap, pay 1. Or action, pay 1, tap, attack. So you pay 1 to attack for 3. It also has once per turn action. Huh, okay, sorry, I just realized something. But once per turn action, pay 1. Your next ally attack this turn gets +1. Go again.
I think this was the winnable one actually. I think about it because you pitch a blue and it comes in for 8. It's basically 8 value is what it is.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, it's a 1. You pay into its ability, and then you pay for its attack. So it's a what? It's a 3 cost 4 that heals 4.
How can I find it? I'm having trouble finding him on Blue Sky now to see if that was the card he revealed. But anyway, yeah, I think it's very solid, right? I think the 4 health is a big deal too. I think having four health is a much bigger deal than 3 health. Obviously depends on the matchup, right? But like against Ninja, it can't just be a head jab, right? When you're playing against Syndra, it's gonna have to be a dagger plus a head jab, or there has to be like a chain ender for 4 or something like that. I think the 4 health is a big deal, and it's just makes full use out of a blue. Pretty as simple as that, really.
Right.
It, I think the other big thing is having some of these allies that, if you get multiple allies stacked on the field, they still get value. Is also pretty important too. Like if your opponent just isn't clearing them, or you have some way
Mhm.
to put out multiple at the same time, but you can't attack with all of them. Having this like way to throw a resource into getting an extra +1 damage is still very good.
I think that I don't know how I feel about him because like it cost 1, even 2 to throw 4, which when you have Barnacle around, it is something where it's like he's a 0 4. He costs 2 to throw 4.
Yeah,
I I do like the aspect of like, oh, if the opponent's not clearing the board, yeah, he can get really strong. Like
Mhm.
pay one, make this one that's really relevant, a break point, this. I think that again, it might be a sideboard piece. If it's like, oh, I'm into Guardian, I'll play Cuddy Shark. Yeah, like okay, I'll throw him in the deck so I can throw an attack and like make my stuff bigger, get better value.
Mhm.
But like past that, I don't know if he makes the deck either.
So I think that is important. This is why like I went over the dead threads at the beginning. I think there's going to be a lot of
Mhm.
times where maybe this sticks around and you just play out one of your free. You do something on your turn. You play out a free ally. You get your free resource and you swing with Cuddy Shark. I think it's just it's just good value. It's just solid, right? Um,
Right.
and maybe that just isn't enough. Maybe solid isn't good enough in the deck. Maybe to make up for the life deficit by just not being able to block very much, you have to do even stronger things than that. And I could see that happening. But I do think that I think it's a very strong card, especially the turn that is played. I think it's very strong.
Yeah, I can see it, especially the turn that's played as strong. But I again, kind of like Chowder, I think you just have so much going on already that its value is only gained through the idea of you having a massive horde already.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we definitely might be needing some more cards to see if he fits the bill. I can see that.
That's totally fair.
Uh, yeah. The next one is Shelly, Hardened Traveler, a 2 cost, 4 power, 5 health ally. Action: pay 3 and tap to attack. Instant tap. The next attack action card you defend with this turn gets +1. Um, really interesting one. It's chunky, right? The 5 health is interesting, but having to pay
Right.
3 to swing with it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how good this is actually. Um, obviously, it's
It turns you
nice that
blue
you.
into
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, you can turn a blue into 4 damage. It's fine. It's not as good as Cuddy Shark in that sense. In fact, this is, if you ask me, it's a strictly worse Cuddy Shark, right? Because
I don't know. This might be my like Guardian showing, but like I feel like it's a better Cuddy Shark. It
okay,
costs you
hold
more,
on. Why is
but
that?
okay, well, because you're in a deck that already runs like I'm assuming 30 blue. So half your deck's blue. You're gonna be able to swing with this for 4 damage with one card.
Okay,
And Cuddy Shark, you swing 4 with a yellow, which I guess that's the bigger
that's a
benefit
pretty
with
big
Cuddy
deal.
Shark. As that is a big deal in a deck with a lot of yellows. But it also gives you the reactionary instant to be able to block more with an attack action that's free. And if you
It's
don't end up using
sure.
Shelly, it allows you to do that. Like,
It
I
goes back
think,
to what I said earlier, right? Where if you're
yeah,
not swinging with this, it still gets value, which is a big deal. I
yeah.
agree with that. Um,
And then, like, the 5 health is a good break point. I don't know. It might be the Guardian in me being like, oh, like, pitching a blue is easy. And I can always block with a, like, attack action and, like, activate this ability if I didn't swing. Like, I can always play around this ability either way, one way or the other. And
I'm starting to see the light. I'm getting it.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, okay, like I wasn't able to attack because I didn't have a big full turn. Well, that like, or you like you see your hand. The unfortunate part is you don't know what you draw. Wait. Doesn't the compass let you? Instant. Look at the top card of your deck. So you could see what you're gonna draw for the next turn with the compass off of the hero ability if you need. And so you know, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna draw. I know my entire hand. Am I gonna be able to swing with Shelly? No. Do I want to block with an attack action? Yeah, okay. Well, I'll activate Shelly. I'll block 4 on your snatch, because sure, it's CNC.
That is
And
nice. Yeah.
then yeah, like block 4 on your snatch or something. Just a rant like an example. But and then yeah, I don't have Shelly next turn, but I can still play around it. The compass let me see what my hand is, so I can still play offensively with my hand. I like Shelly a lot more than I like Cuddy Shark. But I think that is, again, the defensive player in me and the Guardian me being like, okay, well, let me sit back and be a lot more reactionary to what you're playing. While Cuddy Shark is a lot more aggressive, being like, I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to be the one demanding the cards.
Mhm. No, I agree actually. It really just depends on the dynamics of your matchups of like how often this is going to stay out there and your opponent's not going to swing at it. I do think that there's like
Mhm.
a interesting aspect of the deck where you're going to take a lot of damage early game, just getting your graveyard filled up, getting some allies on the board, and there might be a point where your opponent is just trying to kill you, right? Like you might be at like 10 health or something, and now you're finally getting allies on the board. They're just like, I'm not even going to worry about the allies. I'm just going to keep attacking you, and this Shelly's just going to get one value per turn if they're just never clearing it. So I can definitely see that happening.
Right. And I think, like, talking through this, a lot of this looks like the main deck is going to be all the non-ally cards. Like, you might have your entire deck is all the non-ally cards. You have, like, 40 non-ally cards. And then your side deck is 40 ally cards, all the ally cards. And you go and you sit down, and you're like, oh, I'm this hero or against this hero. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Take out these 20 allies, put these 20 in the deck. Like, and it might be something where you just take out the allies and like each hero, like, okay, well, I know Katsu's playing this way, so I need late game Shelly. And it's really, or like maybe not Katsu. I think he actually might be able to deal with Shelly pretty well. But like Ira, oh, Ira can't deal with Shelly very well because she has either 6 attack, she has to waste her entire thing into Shelly, or like dagger, like it doesn't kill him, brings him to 3. She still has to invest a lot into it. Well, it's like Cuddy Shark at 4 life, and like 1 less life. Like, okay, like it takes 2 daggers.
I agree.
Yeah. It like it might be something where it's like, oh, okay, well, I know this is who I'm playing into. That means I got to switch it out like this. Oh, I know this is who I'm playing into. I got to switch it out like this. Yeah. I could see it like him being a very much like, oh, okay, like my sideboard is like 30 of the allies. I take 15 of them. Like, you know what I mean?
All right, so we are at an hour and 11 minutes. So we might have to speed run through these the rest of these spoilers. So you want to go ahead and get on to Swabby?
Yes. So Swabby, a 3-cost Necromancer ally that has 7 attack, 3 health, action, pay 2, attack.
Yeah, pretty solid. Good old 10 value, swings for 7, block, it takes 3. No complaints there.
Again, he has 3 health, so I think it is like a sideboard like, oh, Guardian, pretty strong. Outside of Guardian, or like action point. Yeah, back and forth.
Yep. And then we actually have an armory deck ally, Sawbones, Dockhand. 2 costs, 6 power, 2 health. Action, pay 1 and tap to attack. And there's also an ability, instant tap. The next time you or a pirate you control will be dealt damage this turn, prevent 1 of that damage. And that is a very, very, very interesting ability of being able to protect your allies.
Cool.
Yeah. I like this a lot. I think it has a lot of implications in terms of protecting your board. Dromai was never able to protect her dragons, right? And this is the first time I think we've seen any way to protect your allies outside of like prism shenanigans of like pinging yourself to like end their turn, or like ALS, right?
Yeah, but you're not you're still killing your ally in that fashion. You're like, oh, exactly, she's gonna shield me. Let me just blow myself up. Boom,
it's more ALS, I guess, that you can protect your allies. But regardless, yeah. But this is the first time we've ever seen a way to actually not block, but like protect your allies, right? So I thought that's a very interesting one and it's only in the armory deck.
Like Shelly, where we are like, oh, the 5 makes a huge difference. All of a sudden, that ally or that ally's on the field, and all your math is different. Like, oh, I needed 1 Kadashi to kill Limpet, but now I need 2 Kadashis to kill Limpet. That's a lot of resources. Oh, I needed this one thing to kill this. Like, I needed Snatch to kill any of the 4 health allies. Now I can't even throw Snatch to kill one of them. Like, I have to throw it at a 3 health or the hero itself and hope they just don't block. Like, I think it just adds so much dynamic. And, like, even some of the Guardian attacks, because I was, like, thinking, like, do you run to the 3 for 7 Guardian attacks just to clear, like, the 7 health and the 6 health consistently? And then all of a sudden, like, well, if I'm running the 7 attack and they prevent 1, like, it doesn't even matter into, like, Humperdinck. Like, Whaler Humperdinck still, like, gets protected for 1 and survive. It's, like, it just adds so much more, like, interaction, it feels like, of like, okay, well, how does my hand work?
Yeah, a lot of cool different combos you can do with that guy. But yeah, I believe that is all the Gravy Bones spoilers that we got. At least the Gravy Bones specific spoilers. So with that, we should move on to if there's any. Are there any generic pirate ones? I think there are actually. We'll do the generic pirate spoilers next.
Peg
Looks like
leg is new.
I don't know how new that one is, but it's just draft equipment, so we might skip over some of that. It's just a bad it's just a bad Snapdragons really.
We could talk about Loan Shark then.
Yeah, so that's the first one, the first pirate. If you want to start there.
Yeah. So Loan Shark is a 0-cost block 3. It is a pirate action aura. Has go again. When this enters the arena, create 2 gold tokens. And at the beginning of your end phase, if you haven't created or stolen gold this turn, destroy this, then lose 2 life, unless you discard a card.
Very good card. Also, I love the flavor in this card. I think it's a really, really cool flavor. If you're going to play this out, you're going to get your immediate 2 gold, and you're going to have this loan looming over your head the rest of the game. Potentially times 3. Potentially you'll have 3 of these out there, and you'll have just 6 health looming over your head, like a negative 6 health buffer, just waiting there. And if you ever get into a blocking pattern, now you're 6 health less on top of that. You could die to this thing pretty easily, right?
It is
at the end game.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting because like the discard can be beneficial, especially in these pirates. You have a lot of cards that don't block, or if it's discarded, you gain extra value. Especially in like the Necromancer we were just talking about. All these allies you just rather play from graveyard because they have go again if they're in graveyard. So you might just like one turn, like you would normally IP yourself, and it's like I'm paying back this loan by giving the corpse to the bank or whatever. Like
giving that, or the next card
I'll just
we're gonna talk about
later.
Yeah, like there are ways to get around the loan effectively, which is really cool as well. Yeah, very solid card. Then we have Tip the Barkeep, a 0-cost blue majestic. Create a gold kissed rum token. You may give a gold token you control to another hero. If you do, put this on the bottom of the other's deck, and it has go again as well. Very, very good. What's it called? Gravy Bones card, because I think Gold Kiss Rum is just really strong for you, just having the ability to you're basically getting an extra action point, which is exactly what Gravy Bones needs. I don't know how often the second ability of giving a gold to an opponent to put it on the bottom of your deck, I don't know how often that's going to be used. I mean, I guess I could see it being relevant if you're getting fatigued and you may just need to do this to have cards in your deck. But we'll see. But very solid card. I think Gravy will just run 3 of these.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat the entire opponent's hand, like, but you're getting fatigued, you could just give them a gold. You know they're not gonna be able to use it, and then keep a card in deck.
I mean, anyone can use a gold, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're eating it their whole hand. They're blocking out.
Yeah. But yeah, then you want to go over Port Side Exchange?
Yeah. So it's a blue 0-cost block 3. Discard a card, then draw a card. If a yellow card was discarded this way, create a gold. Very strong.
Very strong gravy card. This is another one of those blues that I think it will just be main decked. It basically makes it so you have a blue that isn't spending a whole card, right? You're getting a gold out of it. So yeah, very strong.
Put an ally where you want it and getting a gold out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. You get a resource from discarding one off of your chest piece and everything too. Then we actually have some, I believe they are limited only cards. We have 4 of these. There's Expedition to Azura Keys, Expedition to Blackwater Strait, Expedition to Dreadfall Reach, and Expedition to Horizon's Mantle. They're all red. They cost 0, 1, 2, and 3. Actually, they might come in all colors because they're commons. But they cost 0, 1, 2, and 3.
I don't think so because of how they're numbered in the set. Because
oh, you're right. Yeah, they're only.
So I think it is just all red.
Yeah, just reds. And they have the effect. The 0 cost has 4 power, 1 cost is 5, and so on. And they all block for 2. They all have the same effect as well. When this attacks, you may put a gold counter on Treasure Island. Now, Treasure Island is the macro that you get in limited. So I think these are just gonna be limited cards, but pretty solid stats. 0 for 4, 1 for 5, 2 for 6, 3 for 7.
Pretty cool limited.
I think they're going to be very strong and limited, but we can go over that next week.
Yeah, outside of limited.
Yeah, not very good outside of limited.
Not very good.
You want to talk about Sea Legs?
Okay, this is the brute support I was talking about. This is the crazy support. But Sea Legs, 3 cost, 3 block. Tax for 6. It's a yellow. One, this is discarded. Create a Gold Kiss Rum token. That's
Very
insane.
interesting.
I mean, I think it's something you like want to run in a lot of the pirates too, or at least in Gravy Bones, because you're like, okay, I'll activate my ability, discard a card. Oh, create a Gold Kiss Rum. Oh, my ally that has now I can. Oh, can you activate it if your hero's tapped? Actually,
the Gold Kiss Rum. You
Instant
tap your hero, so no.
destroys. Okay, never mind.
But I think your offhand discards. No, it doesn't. Never mind. It is your hero ability that discards.
But yeah, there's a lot of cards in deck that discard it too.
You still want Gold Kiss Rums. Like you still want to just have.
And
these.
I mean,
they stay out, right?
Yeah, you save it for like a turn you can't do the hero ability. But anyways, you do that, and all of a sudden you stack Cold Kiss Rum, and you have like 4 allies. And we were talking about the problem of like I can't use my allies this turn. All of a sudden, you could be like Gold Kiss Rum, tap my hero, boom, all my allies coming your way.
Yeah,
like
I think the Gold Kiss Rum is just gonna be very, very strong.
I think it's a brute staple.
Yeah,
and
I think brutes love that card.
I think it's a brute staple, and Gravy loves it.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see. Then we have Fiddler's Green. It comes in rainbow. A 0 cost. It's a well, actually, it's a pearl cost. Don't really know how that works. Actually,
It's a block card.
Oh, because it's a block card. Duh. Yeah, it is a generic block card. All of them block for 1, and they say when this is put into your graveyard from anywhere, gain 3, 2, and 1 depending on the pitch. Very interesting, actually. You basically get value out of discarding off of this. It's also from anywhere, so you can block with it for 1, and then just gain 3 when it goes to the grave. And this is really nice. And like people brought up Snatch, you get to block with a 3 block and this on Snatch, and you're not just like over blocking Snatch, and you still get your like 2 cards of value out of blocking there.
You block a Gadachi for 1 and then gain 3 life. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's also very good, right? It's almost like it's almost like some of the cards in Hunted in terms of like here's a card that like prevents Kodachi lock and stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna run through the rest of these really quick because they're all like limited cards. We have Fool's Gold, Yellow Pitch, generic resource. When it's discarded, create a gold token. Pretty solid limited card. Yeah. We have Rainbow Sirens of Safe Harbor, 2 cost, and it's like 6 power, 5 power, 4 power, depending on the color, all 2 block. When this is put in the graveyard from anywhere, gain 1. It's basically Finals Fighting Spirit, but it's 2 costs instead of 3 costs. And
it's interesting because like Bruce could run that too if they really wanted to discard that, gain a life on top of their effects. I don't think they will, but it is like a fun card that could be put in there.
Yeah, the red one or the yellow one for KO. Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that for Brute. I don't know if they'll run it, but it is an option.
Yeah, it is an option.
Maybe like a future Brute would run it, actually. And then we have the expansion slot Wizard card. Burn Bear, 3 cost, 3 block. Deal 6 arcane to any target with a crazy instant ability. You instant discard this. Destroy target card with Phantasm that is attacking you. A little too late, but still there, which is nice. Also helps.
Arcane Popper.
It is an Arcane Popper. It also still helps against Prism. So there's that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can pop your opponent's Phantasm attack with this.
It doesn't pitch, which
doesn't pitch at all. That is a good point. It doesn't pitch.
I love the flavor of it. Is a 6 attack, pops the Phantasm stuff. The 6 arcane one is the one that gets. It's super cool. I love the card. I looked at that. I read the card. I'm like, this is sick. Also, 6 arcane is impossible for some classes to deal with. Actually, it's like,
actually very, very good. I like it a lot.
It's very strong.
Yeah. I think it's an easy 3 of them on the sideboard, and you just slot into Prism, and you're happy to see it almost every time. But yeah, and then do we want to talk about puffin cards this week, or do we want to save it for next week? Is the question. Do we want to like run through them really quick?
We could run through them and then maybe like just talk like a minute or 2 discussion about each of them, and then
how about you read through all of them? Actually, how about this? We got some really fun Ranger spoilers just this morning, like while we've been recording. So what if we just talk about those Ranger spoilers and then we talk about Puffin next week?
Okay, I like that.
But I think we're still missing some Puffin stuff anyway to like really get a good idea on how she's going to work.
That's fair.
So yeah, I think we got like 6 spoilers while we were recording this, which is kind of cool.
Did we actually?
Yeah. The first one is really cool. I'll read this first one and then you can read the second one, or like we'll alternate from there on. The first one is Barbed Barrage, a 1-cost, 5-power, 3-block ranger action arrow attack. So it's not pirate. You can run this in any ranger. As an additional cost to play this, you may pay 3. If you do, this attacks an additional target. Very, very good sideboard card for anything with allies.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Especially with like ranger that struggles with allies, being able to target multiple allies for 5 damage.
Yeah. It's a solid 1 for 5 that is just very good when your opponent has allies. I'm very curious to see the release notes on this in terms of how it will interact with Prism's Angels. Like if you like when the ordering of attacks happens in order to like actually kill an angel and deal 5 to your opponent. But it's also interesting that if you do have buffs on the arrow, like if you have, blood rot, lace of blood rot on it, I guess you're making 2 blood rots if you're hitting both times, right?
Well, is the blood rot when you hit a hero?
Oh, it might be hit a hero actually. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if there's any buffs that are if it hits, but if there are, then you can get multiple benefits out of hitting.
It'd be kind of cool if I don't know if premeditates it, but it would be super interesting if you target, get 2 ponders, or like I think
only get the 1 ponder.
Okay.
I think it's just the first time you hit.
Dang. There's got to be some cool interaction where you get multiple stuff or multiple things. Like, it's got to be something cool.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think that all the buffs are when it hits a hero. But there might be some way that if you can buff, there might be some cards that say which one it hits. So anyway, we'll look into that later on. Do you want us to read the next one? Well, I just think it's very good though. It's a Majestic, by the way. Expansion slot card, probably.
Oh yeah.
Actually, maybe not expansion. It's probably not expansion slot.
No, I think it's main set.
Yeah, it's number 98.
Number 98.
Yeah. But very strong sideboard card for Ranger. Azalea would have loved that for Dromai.
Yeah. Return Fire's next card. It is a red pitch Ranger block card that blocks 4. When this defends, you may banish an arrow from your hand. If you do, at the start of your next turn, put it face up in your arsenal and it gets +3 until the end of turn. Is that a 0 for 7?
Kind of looks like it.
That
it's a Majestic too. That is insane.
0 for 7?
That is crazy. Now it does have a downside.
It does.
I think that
you might have to have an empty arsenal.
I think you have to have an empty arsenal. So you have to either play with an empty arsenal all the time in case you draw this, or somehow like clear your arsenal with the chest piece that trench. You can run trench and then clear your arsenal that way. Or if you end your turn with a face-up card in Arsenal and you have New Horizons, you can also work
true.
there as well. So there's ways around it, but that is strong. That is extremely strong.
Yeah. I could see it being Marlin when you're like trying to do all the harpoon shenanigans.
I think this is a very easy include in Riptide. I don't know if Azalea runs this. I think that the restriction of having an empty arsenal is really interesting.
Yeah. I think it's impossible for Azalea.
It does say May for what it's worth. It says May. So you could just block 4 with it. And
yeah, but if you like blind this into your arsenal off Azalea, you literally just lose your turn.
That is also
and
true.
Like the other thing, if it's on the top of your deck and you draw it, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, actually, very good point. There's also a brick for Ponder, so there's some downsides.
Yeah,
there's some downsides. Unless you're Riptide, then you can just run it.
Yeah, I think Riptide might also just be like, oh, I'll arsenal this. I'll trench it away. I'll do all this fun stuff.
Yeah, I think just you can just trench your arsenal, and then now you get +3 out of this. Yeah, pretty cool. Very, very strong. I like the art on it too. Let's see, what's the next one? Copper Cog. Whoa, this is interesting. It's a 0-cost blue mechanologist action cog item. Unlimited. You may have any number of copper cogs in your deck. That is crazy. Is that the first time we've had that
I
kind of
think
effect?
it is. Oh,
I don't think.
Oh no. Wait, it's not on the
Chivalry.
card, but
Chivalry, right?
the hero Brevin gives
Yeah.
it like unlimited.
So outside of UPF, effectively, the first time we've had a card that you can just run 60 of in your deck if you wanted to. Crank,
Wow.
as this enters the arena, Crank ability. This enters the arena with 2 steam counters. At the start of your turn, destroy this unless you remove a steam counter from it. So this is a cog that comes with 2 steam counters. Very, very important for Puffin. Like extremely important for Puffin.
Yeah,
It's interesting that they decided to allow you to run unlimited amount of them.
that's super weird.
But it's also blue pitch, so I don't know if Dio likes this or not. I don't think so. I don't think you really care unless you run some cog synergy. That's really interesting.
That's really interesting.
Next one.
It's Monkey Powder. It's a 3-cost block 2 ranger action. Also pitches for 1. Your next arrow attack this turn gets +1 and overpower. Draw a card.
Interesting card. Very, very much a Marlin card, right?
Yeah, it is very much a Marlin card.
Pain 3. Like Azalea doesn't want to really run blues. You could run this in actually. Riptide might like this too. But the idea is that drawing a card just synergizes with the Marlin ability of loading an arrow.
Yeah. Because like if you're running the harpoon as well, where you don't have reload, you can pay this to practically reload off of a blue, reload your arrow, and then shoot it.
Right. So it's interesting. I mean, getting overpower on an arrow is also a big deal, right? And that's why I thought like maybe it's a Riptide card because you have some pretty devastating on hits in Riptide, like I think it's Murky Waters, where if it hits, you get to put a trap card into your arsenal. So like, there's some pretty good stuff for Riptide, but yeah, this is definitely more of a Marlin card. And then we get Fire in the Hole, 0-cost red, rare ranger action with 2 block. Your next arrow attack this turn gets +3, and you may untap a bow you control. Go again. Okay. Try to remember let me look at the bows again.
You can activate Hammerhead Harpoon a second time.
It's expensive.
Pay another 4. Yeah, that's really expensive. I don't know if that's what you want. What is the other bow? Put an arrow from your hand face up in your arsenal. You could activate the Red Spine Manta twice, technically.
That one's just like it just loads an arrow, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more of like a limited type of card. By the way,
I don't know how.
I don't want to cover the Sealess Sarong, a ranger equipment. Legs, 2 block, instant tap. This turn a blue arrow in your arsenal face up. It gets go again this turn. Really interesting Riptide card, but maybe also Marlin card. We're still getting. Go ahead.
I was gonna say with Marlin, I think you're gonna have 2 separate builds, like a Death Dealer build and a Harpoon build, like a Cannon build. And I think that's really good in the Cannon build because you're gonna be running so many blues that you are able to like, oh, I drew an all blue hand. I can at least still use it this turn. Go again, play something that draws a card, put it in arsenal, shoot that.
Yeah, so it looks like we're getting a ton of ranger stuff today. Pretty cool. Yeah. All right. That's all the spoilers we got today so far, at least.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? We are running at the end of our time. It's an hour and a half. Flew through those spoilers. Okay. We still have Puffin stuff to talk about. We'll talk about next week though. But yeah, any overall thoughts on the spoilers so far?
Oop. Super cool. It's super cool. Like I said, I already started like building some decks on the side just to see what they would look like, and I do like the draw 4 function on Fabre to be like, oh, what does my hand look like? Oh, unplayable. Okay, well, let me mix up the deck, fix things up. What does my hand look like? Okay, that's kind of cool. I could do this. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm already really excited to play Gravy Bones. I'm definitely gonna try him out.
It's kind of funny because like I was so low on Gravy Bones. I was like, this guy's not going to be good. He's not going to block very well. This, that, and the other. And I don't know. He's looking pretty good to me now. I'm starting to get pretty high on Gravy Bones being actually a very playable and legitimate hero.
I am really interesting to see how his matchups are though, because like there's so many cards in this deck that won't block. Like if like Guardian throwing Spinal Crush at you. You look at your hand, you can block 5. Well,
yeah, exactly.
I don't have go again.
You're just gonna
that's the best thing I can do.
You're gonna auto lose the ninjas. I think that's the main problem. Like every single ninja, you're just gonna lose to. I don't think there's a single chance you have against them.
Right. It's gonna be super interesting to see how he plays because, like, I feel like for how crazy some of the stuff is, like, we're like, oh, this is a 0 for 4 for free. Oh, here's a 0 for 4 if you have a blue. Oh, here's all these extra cool effects. Like, we have to remember his downside is, oh, I drew a hand that does not block.
Literally, all 4 yellow allies. Like, oh, cool.
Oh well, I guess it's over now. But
yeah,
it is super cool, and I'm really excited to see how he plays. He doesn't seem weak, but he doesn't seem overpowered from what I can tell. We'll see when we actually play him. But like, and I don't know, I don't touch mech at all, so Puffin might look super cool. Cranka, awesome.
Yep. Polly
love it. Like,
it looks really sick too. Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool things to set, and I'm really excited to jump into it.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm excited to play the draft of it too. I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on there.
Looks like so much fun.
Yeah, and yeah, plenty of spoilers that we'll have for next week. So we actually haven't done this ever. I noticed that we don't ever do this, but if you like what the podcast, feel free to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Give it a like. That helps us a lot in terms of visibility. I just want to put that out there. I know we never asked for that, and I thought about the other day when I was looking at some of the metrics. I was like, oh, we actually have a lot of non-subscribers that watch our stuff like regularly.
Oh wow!
I just want to throw that out there. If you like our content, please subscribe. I will say, I'm never gonna ask like hit the notification bell. I think that's like, I think it's just overdoing it. You don't need to be notified when this episode comes out. You can just watch it whenever you have time, or listen to it whenever you have time. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about before we tie this up?
I think I'm ready to ship it off and talk about the rest next week.
Yeah. I'll leave our viewers and listeners with this question. What are you most excited about for High Seas? What is the spoiler you've seen so far that makes you really interested in it here that maybe you weren't interested before? Let us know down in the comments. I think you can also comment on Spotify or just message us or whatever. Let us know. But with that, I'm Cody.
And I'm Jacob.
Thanks for watching and listening.